It is Wednesday, November 2nd. We're going to switch gears up just a little bit here on Strictly Auburn. The weather's getting a little bit colder. Auburn basketball is starting to get underway today as Auburn's taking on the University of Alabama Huntsville in a scrimmage right down the road in Neville Arena. I'm here with Eli Lingo and Connor King. I'm Jake Lazarus, and we're here to break down a little preview of the Auburn 2022-23 basketball season. There's no better place to start than with head coach Bruce Pearl. He's kind of been the driver of this program for the past few seasons. 3 NCAA tournament appearances, whole bunch of accolades at Auburn. How do you guys feel about Pearl on the Plains?
I would say Pearl is probably one of the most underrated basketball coaches of all time. The things that he's been able to do with Auburn in this basketball program, I mean, he's completely turned it around. You mentioned all these accolades. He gave Auburn their number 1 first AP appearance in the history of in the history of Auburn University, which is, I mean, that's an amazing accolade to get under your belt. But Bruce Pearl is my guy. I mean, he's probably the most famous guy on campus. Everybody loves him.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I'd even go as far as to say that he's a top 5 coach in the country right now.
Easily,
What he's done for this program, he dug us out of the mud. And, amidst all the allegations and things like that, he drove us to one of the contending teams in the country. And look at us now. We know we have a standard for Auburn basketball.
Yeah, the standard was set high by Mr. Bruce, man.
Yeah, you guys nailed it. I mean, he's last year with the regular season championship, obviously a little bit disappointing come playoff time. Knocked out in the first game that we played in Tampa.
Yeah.
Knocked out in the round of 32 in the tournament. So obviously underperformed a little bit in the postseason, but an incredible regular season. Auburn ended as regular season champs. He also won SEC Coach of the Year, so clearly the writers appreciated the performance that he was able to put on. I mean, he coached up Jabari Smith to a top 3 pick, Walker Kessler to a first-round pick. So exciting for these players that are coming onto the Plains.
For sure.
Speaking of which, we have some incoming freshmen this year. Might be one of the better incoming freshman classes that we've seen in the last bit at Auburn, maybe in the history of Auburn basketball. This group of freshmen is led by Chance Westry, one of the Phoenix, Arizona guys, one of 2. A guard. He's been really hyped up, so I'm excited to see him. What have you guys heard about Chance?
Chance, he's a 6'6" kid, but, I was watching him over the summer in Israel when they had that international tour. And, I mean, just watching him playing, he has an incredible ability to make difficult shots, kind of similar to KD, and he's long. I wouldn't say he plays like Jabari, but he kind of resembles Jabari's build, just a little bit shorter. But, I mean, Chance, the way he plays as a freshman, a true freshman, is really miraculous, and I think he's going to be a great guard for this basketball team.
I mean, one of these guys is going to be on our football team as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about Trey Donaldson.
Well, he's not on the football team, but he did get recruited to play football at Auburn, but I think he's trying to focus on basketball a little bit. Yeah. Trey Donaldson, but he's a dog too. I mean, what do you think about Trey?
I think he has one of the highest IQs, and I mean, I've heard he's a really smart football player as well, but especially in basketball, he's a great 3-point shooter too. I've heard that he knows how to control a game and just be a true traditional point guard, which we really do need in the future as well.
I mean, Coach Bruce Pearl talked about his mental toughness and his physical ability. I mean, you get that from playing football in high school. He was a dog. If y'all don't know, he's like a 4-star talent in the football.
And he played safety too.
Yeah, so he
having
knows
that football IQ and being able to see the floor, see the field and see the floor, is something that's going to be really key for Trey Donaldson and running this Auburn offense. I think he's going to play really, really well with Zepp, or kind of contrasting with Zepp, because they're both really, really good defenders.
Exactly.
And it felt like when Zepp started games last year, he was kind of a spark plug to the defense. Right. When he would come off the floor, the Auburn defense kind of took a little bit of a hit up in the front, in the backcourt. So I'm excited to see Trey Donaldson. I assume he'll come off the bench and be that number 2 guy to Zepp.
Yep.
We talk about who's the last?
Johan
Treyarch.
Dude, this kid is I would consider him a generational talent. I'm being dead serious. He's an international kid. He's from France, Johan. I mean, he had a heck of a game during the Israel international tour. But I mean, this kid's 6'10", a forward, and he makes shots like a forward too. So look out for him in this group of freshmen. I think he's probably seeing a lot of time right now as we speak, as Auburn's taking on their expedition game right now. I'm sure he's turning up right now.
Yeah, absolutely. With this guy, I see a lot of star power.
Yep.
And what sets him apart from the other recruits and really a lot of the players on our team is how he kind of lays low. And he's not super extravagant. He's a very humble kid, and he comes to play basketball and work hard and get out of there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I mean, that's key for any Auburn player. I mean, last year with the lack of success in the postseason, I think having the poise that's required on this team while being able to play with the aggression on the defensive side of the ball, making key shots, is going to be really key for this Auburn team, especially down the stretch in SEC play. Because there's a lot of good SEC teams this year that are built.
No, yeah. The SEC in the basketball is the same way it is in football. There's a lot of good teams. And you talk about poise. We're going to need some poise from these guys that are returning back from Auburn from last season.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably four. I think we have four key guys that are coming back to the Plains after a really good season last year. I mean, no bigger, literally, than Dylan Cardwell.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah, go for it.
Dylan, everybody knows him on campus as the hype man on campus for football, and he kind of carries that role into the basketball realm as well. I mean, he comes onto the court, and you just feel his presence, you feel his energy.
Just a little
crane action,
crane.
you know. But Dylan, I mean, he's a great kid, a great guy, and he's a really good athlete as well. He's going to be switching out with Janai Broom at center, so look for those two guys in this upcoming season. But, I mean, he's 6'11", 256, big kid. He knows how to play some basketball.
Yeah, he just isn't a great shooter, so that's the only fault that he has in his game. Really good defender, really just a good shot blocking presence and a good presence in the paint. So that's really going to be key. He's also, as you mentioned, a great kid. I've been fortunate enough to have some classes with him. Yeah. Really nice guy. Always in the front row. Always asking questions.
He's an
always
academic
taking notes.
weapon, man.
He is literally an academic weapon. Shout out the academic weapon.
Yeah.
But 2021 SEC Community Service Team, 2021-22 SEC Academic Honor Roll. So that's really impressive, even off the court.
For sure.
But yeah, another guy that's really, really fun off the court, KD Johnson.
Oh,
KD
man.
Johnson is a ball of energy. I mean, the graphic we have up, that's pretty much him in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Pretty much his play style, too. He's a crazy good defender, plays at 150%. What do you guys like most about KD Johnson's game?
I love his energy the most, really. It just seems like he's always up in whoever he's defending's face. He always has his hands up. He's a really physical guy, too. And I just what he brings to the rest of our players on defense and even on offense, too, it's really important. And it's electric what he has.
Yeah, and he's someone that averages almost 2 steals a game. So he's going to generate that fast break. And with the guys that we have, I want to see some big dunks, and especially in the jungle. Shout out the jungle. That Auburn or Neville Arena now was rocking last year, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's one of a kind atmosphere easily.
Yeah. And I've heard they packed it out pretty well tonight too for an exhibition game.
For exhibition, it's just setting the standard. Every single sold out game, every single home game sold out. Yeah. So you're gonna get that energy from AU Jungle. And same way KD Johnson brings the energy on the court, AU Jungle brings it in the stands.
And we'll be, for sure, we'll be a part of that. We'll be outside of the arena. We'll get to that in a few minutes. But, yeah, we're going to be a part of that jungle, too. I'm so excited. Another guy that's coming back, though, spark plug on the defensive side of the ball, same way that Dylan Cardwell is, Zep Jasper. He started most games last year at the 1.
Yeah.
He is a crazy good defender. So I'm going to look for him more on the defensive side than the offensive side of the ball. He, again, kind of like KD, has the ability to generate the fast break and hit key shots, especially on those fast break opportunities.
Yeah.
What have you guys seen from Zep that you really like?
One thing, you mentioned Zep's defense, that you want to see him more defensively this season. But, watching him in the Israel game, in the Israel International Tour, you could kind of see his offense open up and his confidence and his confidence kind of start to shine, and he gets more confident with shooting that 3 ball. And last season he maybe was a little hesitant, but I think what Bruce Pearl has kind of been preaching to him is, look, you're a good shooter, so why might as well take the shot. And I think that's the standard for all these guys. If you're open, might as well take the shot, right?
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think Zep might be our go-to guy for the 3 this year. I just, like you said in the Israel game, it seemed like he was very, very confident from beyond the arc. And it just, I don't know, there was a different feeling whenever he shot the ball. And I hope that continues to come on the rest of the season, too.
For sure.
I want to bookmark that. He's our go-to guy to shoot the three ball, because there is another
guy. There's a couple of guys, yeah. Well, actually, one other guy.
I think there's one other guy that's going to be pretty angry that you said that. I know Wendell Green might not be the happiest man that you think that whatever, Zep Jasper's going to be that go-to man. Wendell is a monster when it comes to shooting that three ball. He shot a few balls last year from like the half-court line that I don't think anyone thought had a shot to go in, and he just kept us in ball games.
Yeah, he's from Detroit, and it looks like he pretty much the same distance was he shooting from Detroit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that guy's got some elite distance shooting. I mean, and he's only 5'11", 175, but the way he creates shots and drives into the lane, it kind of reminds me of Bryce Harper. If anybody remembers, everybody should remember not Bryce Harper. I'm tripping.
What?
Jared Harper. Not Bryce Harper. Jared Harper. Sorry.
Bryce Harper's gonna win. He's gonna win a World Series MVP. So like,
didn't mean to switch to the Phillies. Right now, but no, Jared Harper, kind of similar build to Wendell Green. Both really crafty guys and can create ridiculous shots driving to the paint, and both had a good three shot too. So.
I mean, Wendell, he shoots the three ball better than anyone on this team.
No, easily.
Maybe not percentage-wise, but he's one guy that confidence was an issue last year. He would miss a bunch of shots and just stop shooting.
Yeah.
But he has the ability, and Coach Pearl knows it's in there. Fans and students, we know it's there. So this year I want to see Wendell just keep shooting. Yeah. Obviously not the 15 threes we saw at points last year, but I want to see him keep shooting those open shots. Instead of just feeding the ball down low every time, I want to see him keep shooting. I think that's going to be key. And just jumping back to Zep for 1 second, he's the oldest role player on this team. He's a graduate senior. So
needs to be a leader.
I want to see that leadership role come out from Zep. I think that's going to be key for this Auburn team, losing our two leaders from last year, Jabari Smith and Walker Kessler.
Yeah. I mean, we got one more guy to talk about, Janai Broom, an absolute dog at center, transfer from Morehead State. He was up there in the ranks with Walker Kessler and blocks. So a lot of people were kind of worried about how are we gonna replace Walker Kessler and his blocking ability. Well, we pretty much did. Janai's the guy for that, and he looks really athletic, and his playmaking ability was kind of shocked me. I mean, he had a couple of really filthy passes in the Israel tour, and I mean, he can make shots. He's not just a slow center, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, he averaged a double-double last year, which in the NBA is a good stat line. In college,
it's a great
that's
stat
not
line.
even fair. He averaged almost 17 points a game and 10.5 boards.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I expect him to see him on the high post a lot and a lot of short corners this year. I think he's going to be utilized a lot in the pick and roll game too. Yeah. I've seen a lot about him, and he's a ball player. He's going to be, I think our starting center. I imagine. And even if he splits time with Cardwell, I think he's going to be really impactful to our offense and defense. Like you said, he was a super athletic center too, so I don't think transition will be too much of a problem for him either.
No, I think he might lead this team in minutes.
Yeah, and
he's going to be one of those guys.
And talk about transitions. I mean, he played some of the best talent in Israel this summer, and he didn't shy away from it. I mean, he had double-digit stats. I think he might have averaged a double-double in Israel. I can't remember or not. But, yeah, look for Janai Broom, a big center. Him and Dylan are going to be not splitting time. But, those two guys duo, you can't beat it.
No, I mean, this Auburn basketball team, preseason ranked 15th.
Yeah.
I know I truly believe they could jump up into as high as the top 5 really quickly if they could put up some good performances. The only reason they're ranked at 15 is because of the young guys coming in. They're going to have a lot of younger role players, so that's going to be key to watch out for.
Yeah.
Before we finish up, though, I need some predictions from y'all.
Come
on. What seed are we going to be in the SEC tournament? Do we make the NCAA tournament, and what seed are we there? And where do we go?
Okay. So I'll start off with the SEC tournament. I think we have a 3 seed in the SEC tournament.
I like that.
And I say we make it to the final thing. I'm not going to say we win it, but I say we're probably going to be there with Kentucky or Tennessee. And for March Madness, I have us going to the Elite 8, and that's better than last year.
Yeah, obviously.
And if this team strides, I mean, if this team peaks at the right moment, I mean, last season you saw us we went on like a 23-game streak, which is insane. But I think the problem with last season, we peaked a little bit too early. So if we peak at the right time, we could even make a Final Four run.
A streak in which we covered 22 straight games.
Yes.
For any sports bettors.
Yeah.
Connor, what about you? I need to hear what you think.
I completely agree about how you what you said about peaking at the right time.
Yeah.
I would love to go on a streak. Let's just make it maybe a little bit later in the season.
Yeah,
and,
the second half of the season.
Win out the rest of the season. I have Auburn as a 2 seed in the SEC tournament.
Okay.
I think Kentucky will be number 1. I have Tennessee at 3. Hopefully, we can get past the quarterfinals of the SEC tournament this year.
Yeah, that was a disappointment.
Honestly, I would love us to win the SEC championship and just start our run there and keep going from there. So I do have us as SEC champions.
Okay, hey,
in the tournament.
Bookmark that.
Come
SEC
on.
champions. You heard it here first.
I also agree with Eli about the March Madness as well. I think we'll be in the Elite Eight. It would be great to go farther, but I think Elite Eight is a great choice right now. It's pretty safe. And I think we're just going to roll. We're going to roll towards the second half of the season. Our schedule, it favors us. We have Kentucky. I'm pretty sure it's at Kentucky.
It's at Kentucky this year. Yep.
But besides that, I like our schedule right now, and I think we can go pretty deep and make a good run.
For sure.
All right, so I'll
Jake,
finish
what do
it
you
up.
got?
I think we go in as a 4 seed.
Okay.
I really do realistically think there's a chance we could go in as high as a 1 seed.
Yeah.
No fear. I do think we get one of the first 4 buys, or one of the top 4 seeds,
completely.
and get that double bye, because I think that's key for this Auburn team.
Mm-hmm.
Should we fall out of that, I think this team is built to make runs and play longer games with the depth that we have to play those defensive games. So I'm going to go with a 4 seed. I think we lose in the Final Four of the SEC tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we get bounced in the Sweet 16.
Okay.
It's better than last year.
Yeah, again, just like football, I said this at the beginning of the football season, I was a little bit pessimistic about our football team. Turned out to be right. I hope I'm wrong about my basketball.
There's nothing to be pessimistic about this basketball team.
Yeah, I hope I'm wrong.
Sweet 16 is not being pessimistic. Hey, that's a good run for any team.
That's a good
sure.
run for any team.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want to see a national championship.
That would be
I think
insane.
I want to see Tumors as a TP Wonderland.
Yeah.
Trees rolled and 100,000 people crowding downtown Auburn. That's what I want to see.
Well, if it does happen, Strictly Auburn's going to be covering it, and you're going to want to watch Strictly Auburn
Yes,
covering that
sir.
stuff. Trust us, okay? And,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
And, we'll be starting for one of the games. We're going to start doing, instead of football episodes every single week, because football season's obviously has to end soon. Yeah, we're going to start doing basketball updates. And we're even going to do some on-campus shows right outside of Neville Arena with the jungle and the lineups in the background.
Yeah.
And hopefully we have some guests on at some point. So for anyone new that showed up last time, thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe to Eagle Eye TV. Follow us on TikTok at Strictly Auburn.
Come on.
Eli Lingo, Connor King. I'm Jake Lazarus. War Eagle.
War Eagle.